Welcome to Data Ageucation. I'm Jessica Noval, the Sales Operations Manager, and this is Richard Lutz, our Corporate Trainer. Today we're going to be talking to you about the Management Dashboard Report. So, Richard, tell me, what is your favorite report as our resident report guru?
You just said it, accounting report number 2, the Management Dashboard Report.
So, what's so special about that?
Well, I use it for closing every day.
Oh, I already know what reports to run for closing. I run accounting 1, I run accounting 5, accounting 7, cash flows 4,
Jessica!
What?
We got the totals for all those reports in one place.
What do you mean? I don't have to run all of these 15 reports?
No.
Whoa. Thanks for telling me now. Go on. How can I find that in PawnMaster?
Well, we're going to go to accounting,
Sure.
report number 2,
Okay.
double click or choose print. It's going to ask you if you want to backdate the report.
Should I do that?
You should not backdate this report.
Okay.
This is a live report, meaning it makes the calculation the moment you run this report.
Sounds good.
So if you run it in the middle of the day, things are going to change between noon and 6 or 8 when you close. Run the report at the end of the day.
Okay. Anything else special we should know about this report?
Absolutely. Like I said, if you do backdate the report, it's going to have a disclaimer at the bottom. It's going to say backdated report, not all information is available.
Sure.
If it's using a piece of information to do a calculation, that calculation can't be correct.
Okay.
And there's some other little tips that I'll be showing as we continue.
Sounds good. Show us.
All right, so it asks, do we want to include the aged inventory, yes or no?
I would assume you hit.
You could say yes or no, it's really your choice. If you say yes, it may take a few seconds longer to run because it does have to do a calculation on your inventory.
Okay.
If you say no, it'll print a little bit faster.
Sounds good.
So for our purposes, I am going to say yes.
Sure.
That way we can discuss that section of the report.
Perfect. Wow, that's a lot of data.
Yes. Notice, as we look at this report, it's divided into 2 sides, a left and a right.
Sure.
The right side is your pawns, loans, changes in inventory. This is outgoing generally.
Okay.
And the left side is sales, pawn payments. This is the income side.
Wow, that's easy.
We also have it broken down into day, WTD, which stands for week to date,
Sure.
MTD, which is month to date, and YTD, I think you can guess.
Year to date?
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, we also have our totals for our loan balance on this report. We have our totals for our buy balance. You might be thinking, well, what if I'm a buy-sell shop and I'm not a pawn shop?
Sure.
Everything else on this report is still valid. You just have one small section in the top right corner that you won't be utilizing.
So you can still use it if you're a buy-sell customer.
Highly recommended.
Great.
We see our layaway section, which also includes our layaway balance as of printing,
Okay.
the total amount of deposits that were made. This includes payments,
Okay.
the overdue amount.
All right.
So we might have some employees that need to make a few phone calls,
Uh-oh. Get to work.
and our cost of all of our layaways.
Sounds good.
As inventory goes in and out of your shop, that's going to be tracked.
Okay.
So you can use this report to see if your employees are doing their jobs.
Sure.
If an employee was supposed to pull the buys, you're going to see the effect in this report.
Okay.
The employee that pulled the loans. If an employee were to delete a piece of inventory out of your system, you're going to see removed inventory right here.
That's great.
As we move down the report, this is where you're going to see your redemption rate, default rate, of course.
Okay.
And on any given day, of course, you could have 100% pickup or 100% default.
Absolutely.
However, if you go to the annual or the year-to-date column, as the report progresses through time, this is going to become more and more accurate.
Okay.
This is where it brings us to our aged inventory section.
Okay.
It's broken down into 3-month intervals or quarters. You have the first 0 to 90 days, 91 to 180 days, and so forth.
Okay.
And then it's 1 year to 2 years old, and then anything greater than 2 years old.
Well, that's helpful.
Yes, so if you start seeing that number rising in that 2-year-old column, that means you made some bad investments along the way. We need to find those items, get those discounted, or simply just move them somewhere else in the shop.
Sure.
Often, just moving an item, it'll end up selling.
That's great.
Now we have a section at the very bottom of the report on our turns.
Oh, what's a turn?
Turns is literally how often you're turning over the value of your inventory. So
That's important.
if you have $1 million in inventory and you're doing $1 million in sales a year, you're turning over $1 million annually or once a year.
Right.
If you're doing $1 million every 6 months in sales, congratulations, and your turns are going to be 2.
That's huge.
Most pawn shops, by the way, unfortunately, their turns do run about 1 to 1.2. Occasionally, I'll see a successful shop that has turns that are higher than that. Let's get all of our customers getting their turns up.
Absolutely. So can you show us what's on the other side of the report?
Sure. As I mentioned earlier, this is the income side. Here we're going to see our taxable sales, tax-exempt sales, layaway pickups and payments. We're going to see our gross profit, cash drawer, overages and shortages,
Okay.
our pawn payments
Sure.
and pickup payments. We're going to see any discounts or overrides the employees may be doing.
Okay.
We're going to see below cost sales. And I do want to mention, this is kind of important on this report, the below cost sales section indicates what the item actually sold for, not how much it was discounted below cost.
Okay, that's some important information. Thank you.
There's going to be some sales tax information. Of course, you're not going to use this report to do your taxes each month. We have a report dedicated to that,
Okay.
but it's nice to keep track of it. And of course, the last section is going to be cash on hand.
Wow. Well, this is going to save me hours every day. I guess I don't need to run these reports anymore. Thanks, Richard.
You're
That was
welcome.
so helpful. And thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of Data Ageucation. See you next time.